Hello, I'm Dane, and this is Dan Explains. With the recent progress of SpaceX Starship, it appears more and more likely people alive today will be able to travel to other bodies in the solar system without having to ride on taxpayer dollars. That makes it a lot less embarrassing for lowly peasants like myself to wonder what places in the solar system would be neat to visit. Recently I started wondering, what are the most hospitable places in the solar system, besides Earth? Could there even be places out there people could survive without a spacesuit? Let me explain. First off, I'd like to make distinctions between places hospitable for humans and places hospitable to life. Those are two actually very different things. Life can and has adapted to live in some fairly extreme environments that would kill a human in seconds. Probably the two most hospitable places for life off of Earth are Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus. Both are known to contain liquid oceans in their interiors due to tidal heating from their parent planets. Although the temperatures in these oceans are obviously in the range of liquid water, a human would still need a suit. Maybe even tougher than a spacesuit to survive there. Think of the kind of suits that are needed to survive in the deep oceans on Earth. Not exactly like a day on the beach in Cabo. However, those environments are extremely hospitable to microorganisms, and maybe even some simpler multicellular life. If there isn't life in those locations at the moment, there almost certainly will be after we visit them due to sneaky microorganisms hitching a ride on our spacecraft. So, what places in the solar system would be best for humans, environmentally speaking? Usually Mars is the first planet that comes to mind when people think of the most habitable planet besides Earth. Well, Mars probably had a very habitable environment on the surface 3 billion years ago. Today, even though it has an atmosphere, it's so thin that for water-based organisms like ourselves, it might as well be a vacuum. Save for one place on Mars, at the very bottom of Hell's Basin. The altitude is so low there that the surface pressure may be high enough at around 14 millibars so that water stays liquid for some time. It'd be a bit cold, but without a spacesuit on at least, your blood wouldn't boil. There is no oxygen in Mars' atmosphere, but could you survive there with an oxygen mask like high-altitude climbers do on Earth? Not quite. You have to consider the oxygen pressure the human body needs to survive. Some extremely well-acclimated humans can't survive for a time at the top of Mount Everest. The partial pressure of oxygen up there is 7.1 kilopascals. 14 millibar is only 1.4 kilopascals. So even if your oxygen mask was putting out 100% pure oxygen, you'd still only be getting 50 oxygen to the bottom of Hell's Basin as a person free climbing on the top of Mount Everest. So unless you were wearing a high-altitude pressure mask, you'd suffocate. But our skin is technically tough enough that you wouldn't need a spacesuit covering your entire body. Just a pressure mask. This doesn't make for a great place to vacation. So, are there any other places in the solar system that are better? Well, let's look at all the worlds with substantial atmospheres. Even though Earth's atmosphere is thicker than Mars, it's actually a lightweight compared to other bodies in the solar system with atmospheres. Venus, for instance, has over 70 times the atmospheric pressure at its surface than Earth. That makes the surface of the planet a hot pressure cooker that would cook a human through in seconds. There is one other body in the solar system with a solid surface and a substantial atmosphere, just slightly more dense than Earth, and that's Saturn's moon Titan, with 1.5 atmospheres at the surface. There are two issues with Titan though. It's extremely cold at 289 degrees below zero. That makes the South Pole look like the hottest day in Death Valley. So, you need a super thick coat. The other issue with the atmosphere of Titan is that it's extremely toxic to humans. Even a whiff would kill you. So your mask would need to be super tight. That's not worth the risk, if you ask me. I'd just go full spacesuit. I think we're going to have to elevate our thinking to find better places in the solar system. Elevate it up into the atmosphere, that is. All of the gas planets have places in their atmospheres where the pressure is similar to Earth. They all have big issues, however, because getting to those locations would be difficult. Staying in those locations would be near impossible, because the atmospheres are predominantly hydrogen. So, there is no lifting gas that could be used in a balloon. And leaving would be impossible, because chemical rockets simply aren't capable of leaving their gravity wells. There is one place, though, one that most people dismiss, and that's Venus. 30 miles above its surface exists the most Earth-like environment in the solar system outside of Earth. Short-sleeve pressures and short-sleeve temperatures closely matching that of Earth. On top of which, Venus's atmosphere is CO2, which is much heavier than air. So a balloon made of Earth's atmosphere would just float in Venus's atmosphere. The one fly in the ointment here is the sulfuric acid clouds. So if you went outside of your balloon, you'd want an acid-resistant poncho and an oxygen mask. So in conclusion, cloud cities like Bespin from Star Wars may be a lot closer to reality than we think. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.